Hey everybody, it's Dr. Bam, Dr. B. I am writing because I know I've had a lot of questions with the philosophy paper coming up, and so I thought I would do kind of a little mini video to maybe just help address some of the things that have come up. The first thing I would like to show you is this, or talk about, is this extra credit assignment over here. This is just a side note. When you take it, it will say you have a 0. I can't remember if there's extra attempts, but if you can do extra attempts, you can. If you go back into the assignment through your gradebook, you will be able to see what you actually scored on it. Once everyone has taken it, and I'm closing that extra credit opportunity at the end of the unit on October 17th, I will go and grant you the number of points that you earned. So even if you answered 7 right, it's going to say you got a 0. And so I'm going to actually delete the whole test column and put in a column that has your extra credit points in it. So don't worry, you will get those extra credit points if you've taken that test. Hey, frankly, even if you don't study up on the history of the schools and the things and you take it, every point can count. So I recommend taking it even if it's just a quick go through and see what you know. The other piece is there is APA requirements for this paper. And so in this folder here, Student Resources, there is a writing support folder. And in that writing support folder, there is APA style Purdue writing apps. It is a great resource as well as some other basic writing resources. I also really recommended Google Scholar. So if you are looking up a specific article or something related or an author, if you can find the book or the article here in Google Scholar. So for example, if you were looking for me, you would put the name of the author, and then you can find the works, and then you find the article or the book that you're using, and you hit this site, and actually formats your reference for you right there. And you can see that it's also for MLA, Chicago, Harvard, Vancouver, some other options that you might be using. Great way to pull them off. Now, it's not formatted to the way it should appear on the reference page, so make sure you're still doing the indenting and the double spacing that is required for it, or the formatting that is required for it. However, it will give you the basic construct of what it should look like on your reference page. It is a reference page, not a works cited page. It must be APA, not MLA. The reason we do that is for education departments that you're going to transfer to. They are going to require APA. And so I want you to start thinking about how does that formatting work and what does it look like so that you have some basic understanding of it prior to transferring to another location to finish your 4 years. Okay, I'm going to go back to Schoology and look at the philosophy paper. So the philosophy paper that's due on Monday, I want you to think about a couple things. So you have to make sure that you are doing 4 separate influences. And people have been coming to me and saying, I'm stuck on how to even approach this and how to write it and how to begin it. So as you can see, it's a minimum of a 5-paragraph essay. So you need to have your introduction and you need to have your conclusion. In between those two, you probably will have 3 to 4 paragraphs. Okay. Some people like to do each influence as its own paragraph. Some people like to look at things that are overall part of their philosophy and find multiple influences that fit those 1 or 2 things that they have. Just making sure that you do end up with those minimum of 5 paragraphs. So what might these paragraphs look like? And think about that knowledge builder that we did, where she is talking about how these people have influenced her and what she wants to do with what they have said, right? So a paragraph might look something along the lines of, one thing that I firmly believe in regards to educating children is that they need to have hands-on experiences, right? Something like that line. And then I would go on to say an influence that supports this concept is constructivists or Jean Piaget, and then I would talk about the concept that I was connecting to for a little bit of time, right? This person really said this or this about the use of hands-on education and the practical application of things. And then in the end, I'm going to bring it back around and saying, knowing this information in my classroom or in my teaching, or when I become a teacher, I would like to do what? What are you going to do with that information? Are you going to, have learning centers or take field trips or, give opportunities to use hands-on manipulatives? Like any piece that you're doing, that I just need to see the clear connection. And so the formatting of the paragraphs should be something along the lines of, this is what I believe, here's something that supports what I believe, and this is what I would like to do with it when I become an educator, when I am in my own classroom and doing that education piece. So like I said, some people like to do that for each of the 4. Some people have really strong beliefs and they'll make multiple connections to the theorist philosophies, concepts, educational concepts. And so it just needs to be clear. So every paragraph you write should probably be a minimum of 5 sentences. Make sure you are dividing your writing into paragraphs. That's just good writing. When you shift and transition to a new topic, that you're shifting and transitioning your writing. The other thing is, I love that influences in your life are XYZ teacher, your mother, your grandmother, an auntie, somebody that works in the local community. No, these need to be connections to educational, theoretical, philosophy, people, concepts, or philosophies, theories. So if it is not an educational connection that it can make to your content area or to the teaching pedagogy piece of it, don't use it. If you're not sure this person would qualify, shoot me an email. I'm going to be checking my email through 4 o'clock today, and I'll be checking my email starting Monday morning. If you need me to say, nope, not a great person, that's why we kind of went over some of those people and the philosophies and the things that you could connect to. Some choices that I have seen people make are things like that aren't in what we've covered, as somebody talked about Mr. Rogers, and how he influenced what they want to do in regards to teaching young children and how they want to approach it, but they were able to make that connection of how he approached creating the television show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, right? That's what he's famous for, and what he knew about children and how they wanted to take that piece of what he did into the classroom. And so it's just not someone who inspires you. It has to be someone who is connected to the field of education, and you can make those philosophical connections. So once again, the people and connections, the influences should be people that were in that are educational influencers. So we're talking big people like John Dewey, Bruner, all of those pieces, Gardner. Theorists could be included, Piaget, Vygotsky, Bronfenbrenner, ecological theory, all those things. Philosophies, essentialism, progressivism, idealism, all those other ones that we talked about. And pulling in any 4 of those pieces. You can also do concepts like scaffolding, zone of proximal development, diversification. You can do look at some special education supports that you believe in and why you believe it. Just really, you have to make that connection to something that you believe and something that you will use. So like FAPE, free appropriate public education. You might believe in that, but that's not really something that you're going to take forth into the day-to-day teaching and how you're going to do things, okay? So don't just kind of grab a term and throw it in there. Make sure it makes sense in the overall picture of things. When you're looking at the rubric, I'm going to evaluate your 4 influences. Did you connect them? Are they clear? Did you identify them? Did you explain them? I'm looking for all those pieces. Your grammar, your use of grammar, punctuation, clarity. I could understand easily what you were writing, what you were saying, all of those pieces. Your APA will have deductions for formatting for references, formatting papers, if you're using in citations, are they correct? Looking at, double-spaced, the proper font, all of that, which is, the proper font is Arial or Times New Roman. It should be 12, but for me, you can do 12 or 14 since my eyes are getting a little bit on the weaker side. And then, do you have that title page? Do you have those references? You must have them because you did not make these people up, right? They're not your own work. So you're going to be making connections to 4 influences. You need to be citing and supporting those 4 influences. And so the 0, 3, I do sometimes do flex scores in between there, but that's not on the formatting. That goes in APA. The references are going to, if you don't if your references don't cover one of your influences, then I'm going to say something's missing, right? So there might be more than just 0 or 3, but usually for most people it's either they're not there or they got them, right? They put them in there and they're there. So that's why it's just a 0 or 3. Okay, once again, let me know, give me a smiley face or something in Schoology if you like these types of videos, and I will try to do more of them moving forward for future assignments. If I don't get a lot of likes, I'm going to assume people aren't really watching them or using them, and so I won't make as many or make them. So it helps me understand, like, is this a need, and does this help people make a need? Meet a need. Okay, have a good one, and I will talk to you later.